We're going to start having a look at outcome 1 of craft maths. In outcome 1, we're looking at number works, we're looking at rounding numbers, using scientific notation, and also percentages and ratios within an engineering context. Okay, first thing we're going to look at today then is rounding. Now, when you are rounding a number, you're trying to keep that number as close as possible to the original number. You need to keep that in your mind. It will help you as you go further down. First type of rounding we're going to look at then is rounding to a certain number of decimal places. A decimal place is any number after the decimal point. Okay, so if we look at the first one here, we've got 12.614. After the decimal point, we've got 1, 2, 3 numbers. So we say it has 3 decimal places. The next one, 1.9163, it has 4 numbers after the point, so it has 4 decimal places. 0.06, it's got 2 numbers after the point, so it has got 2 decimal places. It makes no difference at all how many numbers it has before the point. It's just the numbers after the point that we are interested in when we're looking at decimal places. Okay. Basic rules of rounding then. Now these basic rules of roundings never change. You're probably familiar with them, but just to be clear, if you are rounding a number and the number after the point where you want to round to is above 5, the number next to it goes up by 1. If it's less than 5, then the number next to it stays exactly the same. Okay. It is easier to see this in practice, so let's have a go at some examples. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do then is round to the nearest whole number. So a whole number doesn't have any decimal places at all, so you're looking to round it to just the number before the point. So here we've got 6.2. Now I'm not interested in anything that's after that 2, only that 2 I'm interested in. It's less than 5, so that will round to 6. Now notice I'm putting an arrow, not an equal sign. 6.283 isn't equal to 6, but it does round to 6. Okay, and you can show that rounding with an arrow. The second one, we've got 23.17946. We're rounding to the nearest whole number. Before the point, we've got 23. And again, the only number I'm interested in is the very first number after the point. It's a 1, it's less than 5, so that stays at 23. What you might want to do right now is pause the video, have a wee go, make sure that you're happy doing the rest of these yourself. Okay, the next one then, we've got 570.62. It's 570 before the point. First number after the point is a 6. That's bigger than 5. It's the number beside it, which is the 0 here, goes up 1. After 0, we get 1. So it goes up to 571. Next one, we've got 3.1295. There's my 3. Straight after the point, I've got a 1. Oh, what am I doing? I'm putting a point in. Don't want that in. So that one just rounds up to 3. We've got 59.769317. It doesn't matter how many numbers I continue after the point. If I'm looking to find the nearest whole number, I'm only interested in that very first number after the point. It's a 7. It's going to round that number up. If I round up 9, it goes up to 10. Easier way to think about that is I'm rounding 59 up. Next number after 59 is 60. Last one then, 103.5. If it's exactly halfway, we always round up. So that's going to go up to 104. Okay, let's look at the decimal place then. Now this rounding is all very similar. The difference here is the number of places after the point. So if I want to round to 1 decimal place, I want 1 number after the point. So my deciding number this time is going to be the second number after the point. Anything after that I can ignore. Right, so we're looking at the first one. I've got 9.3176. Second number after the point is a 1, so that's not going to change that 3. So that's going to stay as 9.3. This 76 here makes absolutely no difference. We can completely ignore it. Next one, we're looking at 29.175 0.576. Now again, I'm only interested in second up to the second number after the point. This here is all irrelevant. This is my deciding number. It's a 7. 7's bigger than 5, so it's going to round that 1 up to a 2. Now again, you might want to stop and try some of these for yourself. Next one, we've got 390.59871. Second number after the point is a 9. That's going to push that 5 up to a 6. Okay. And we always want, in this case, just one number after the point. Great, next one we have 0.9875. Okay, 75 we're just going to ignore. I'm only interested in the first two. Second number here is an 8. So that's going to round that 9 up. It's going to move it up 1. After 9 we get 10. But in this case it's 0.9. So when that rounds up, it pushes the 1 to the other side of the decimal point, and we get 1.0. Now usually 1 and 1.0 are the same thing, but because we're dealing with rounding, we need to have a number after the decimal point, so you must have that 0 in. Next one, we've got 67.00. Again, I'm not interested in that 485. I'm only interested in the first two numbers here. That's a 0. It can't change that 0. So it just stays as 67.0. Comment I made before is valid here as well. You need the 0 in. 3982.90. Again, not interested in that 34 at all. There's my 0. 0 is not going to change the 9, so it's just going to stay 3982.9. Now, we can do this to any number of decimal places. That was one decimal place, so we have two numbers. Sorry, saying the wrong thing here. One number after the point, and we'll be looking at the second one. If we got to two decimal places, which you'll see a lot in things like money, then we're looking at the third number after the decimal point. It's my deciding number, and we want two numbers after the decimal point. Okay. So 6.2837 is my third number after the point. Not interested in anything beyond that. It's not interested in the 7. That's a 3. So it's just going to stay as 6.28. Next one, we've got 23.179. That's my third number. I'll stop there. Not interested in anything after that. 9 is bigger than 5, so it's going to round 7 up to an 8. So we get 23.18. Next one, we've got 570.62. That's already two decimal places. Doesn't mean I need to round it further, just means that this one doesn't change at all. So that will just stay as 570.62. 3.1295, there's 1, 2, 3. Not interested in that 5. 9's bigger than 5, so that rounds that 2 up to a 3. So we get 3.13. Next one, 59.769. There's my 1, 2, 3. Not interested in anything beyond that. 9 is bigger than 5, so that's going to push that 6 up to a 7. Last one then, we've got 103.526. I'm stopping there, not interested in anything after that. 6 is bigger than 5, it's going to push that up to a 3. Okay, so that's if you are just asked to round a number, but quite often what you'll be asked to do is do calculation first and then round your answer. So we'll have a wee look at a question like that as well. So the perimeter of a rectangle is found by doubling the length and adding this to double the breadth. You can, of course, just add up all the way around if you prefer. So if the length is 4.06 and the breadth is 3.78, calculate the perimeter, giving your answer to one decimal place. Okay, so my length is 4.06. So I'm doubling that. You can use your calculator for this if you wish. My breadth is 3.78. So I'm doubling that as well, which is 7.56. I then want to add the two together. I'll say again, if you want, you can use a calculator for this. That comes out as 15.68 metres. I'm asked for an answer to 1 decimal place. So the answer I've got right now is 15.68. It's got 2 numbers after the point. The second number is an 8, so that's going to push that 6 up to a 7. So to 1 decimal place, you get 15.7 metres. Okay, I'll leave you to practice some of these. If you have any problems at all, please send me an email and we can get that sorted out. Okay.